All right, everyone. For this video, we're going to go over exercise 3.2, part A, number 16, and part C, number 7 through 10. So our first one is 3.2A, number 16, and it says solve. And then we have this equation. So there's one variable, but it's on both sides of our equation. So what we need to do is we need to get the variable to be on one side of the equation, combine like terms, and then get the variable all by itself equal to a number. And that's how we're going to solve it. We're going to find out what m is equal to. So we're going to start out, we have an m over here plus 1, and then we have an m over here. First thing we need to do is distribute this 0.8. Sorry, I was looking for my calculator. So 0.8 times 7, 8 times 7 is 56, but there's a point there, so it's going to move the decimal point over 1. I'm just going to show you on here so you can see. 7 times 0.8 is going to give us 5.6. All right, so we're going to multiply this by everything on the inside. So we're going to multiply 0.8 times 7, which gives us 5.6 times m. And then 0.8 times the negative 2, that's going to give us negative 1.6. I'll show you on here. 0.8 times 2, change that to negative, and you get negative 1.6. Okay, so minus 1.6. And then everything over here is the same. I haven't changed anything on the right-hand side. All right, now I have an m here and an m here, so I want to get them both on the same side. For me, I like to take the smaller one and subtract it from the bigger one. So I'm going to subtract 5.6 from both sides. Minus 5.6m. These two add to 0, and we're left with a negative 1.6 on this side. And then over here, we have 9.5m minus 5.6m. So we're going to take our 9.5, and we're going to subtract 5.6, and we get 3.9m, and then this plus 1 stays the same, plus 1 right there. Now we're going to get rid of the plus 1, subtract 1 from both sides, and we have minus 2.6 over here and 3.9m over here. Now we're going to divide both sides by 3.9. This divides to 1, so you're left with 1m on this side, which is just m. And then on the other side, we're going to have negative 2.6 divided by 3.9, which gives us negative 0.666, and that's repeating. Now, if you look at the answer, the answer looks closer to this. So what they did was they didn't put this in a calculator and get this number. What they did, we're going to skip this part right here. I'm going to put this in parentheses. All right. So if we just write down the answer as negative 2.6 divided by 3.9 is equal to m, we can multiply the top and the bottom by 10, which gives us 26 over 39, negative 26 over 39, which is a correct answer, but it can be simplified to negative 2/3. If you simplify it, you can get negative 2/3. All right, that's dividing both the top and the bottom by 13. 26 divided by 13 gives us 2, and 39 divided by 13 gives us 3. So this is a correct answer. This is a correct answer. Even this is a correct answer. If you put it in the calculator, that's what you'll get. Okay, but I wanted to show you how they got the answer in the answer key. They have this one, and then they have it simplified. But if you get a negative 0.6666 repeating, that is also the same as these. So any of these three would be correct answers. You need to be able to recognize when you have similar answers. If you get an answer that's a decimal and they have an answer that's a fraction, all you have to do is take that fraction, divide it, and see if you have the same number. And you can figure out whether you have the same answer as they do, okay? So that's that one. Let's go on to the next one. Exercise 3.2C, number 7. Now for this one, for 7 through 10, they give us an equation and they ask us to solve for one of the variables, okay? So this one, number 7, we have 2s minus at squared over 2t is equal to v, and we're going to solve for s. So this is what we're solving for right here. So this division, this long division sign right here kind of acts like a parentheses. We cannot do anything with the stuff on the top until we get rid of this on the bottom. So we're going to multiply both sides of our equation by 2t, first of all. 2t times 2t, okay? These two divide to 1, which means that we only have 2s minus at squared left over on this side. And then over here, we have v times 2 times t. Now, when you have things all multiplied together, you always put the coefficient first, the number out front, and then you usually put the numbers in alphabetical order. But in this case, the answer key has the v last, so we're gonna put the v. No, sorry, it has the v second. Excuse me. So it doesn't matter if it's TV or VT, it's still the same thing. So don't worry about it. We're just going to put it in alphabetical order. All right. So we want to get s by itself. So we're going to get rid of the at squared. We're going to add at squared to both sides. These two add to 0. And then we are left with 2s on this side. And then we have 2tv plus at squared. These are not like terms, you can't combine them, so just write it like that and you're good. And then we're going to get rid of the 2 by dividing by 2 on both sides. And those divide to 1, so we're left with 1s over here, which we just write as s. And on this side we have 2tv plus at squared all over 2. And then if we look at what they have in the answer key, they have s is equal to 2vt plus at squared all over 2. Remember I said that TV and VT are the same because when you multiply things you can switch them around. So this is right. We got the correct answer. Okay? All right. Onward and upward. 3.2 part C number 8. So we have R is equal to I over PT and we're solving for P. So this is what we're solving for. P is on the bottom of the equation. We don't want it on the bottom. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by PT so we can get that P out of the bottom of the fraction right there. These two, let's see, over here we have PT times R. And then over here, these two divide to 1 and we're left with just I, right? Now, remember we're trying to get P by itself and it's being multiplied by T times R. So we're going to divide both sides by T times R. And those divide to 1 and we're left with just 1 P over here. And then over here we have I over TR. Okay, and that's your answer. All right. Let's switch to the next one. Sorry if I'm going too fast. You can always go back and watch it again. And on YouTube, you can watch it at a slower speed if you'd like. Or if I'm going too slow, you can watch it at a faster speed. It's always nice. All right. Exercise 3.2C, number 9. So we have D is equal to L times R to the R2. All of it divided by R2 plus R1. Now this 2 and the 1, don't worry about those. That's not really an operation. This is just a variable. R2 is one variable, R1 is a different variable. They're just naming it that way so they can keep track of what the different R's mean. So don't let the numbers 2 and the 1 bother you. These are just different variables. Just think about that as a different variable than that variable. And we're going to solve for R1 right here. And again, it's down in the bottom of our fraction. We don't want it down there. We want to get it out of there first thing. So we're going to multiply both sides times R2 plus R1 in order to get that out of the bottom of our fraction. So we're going to multiply this by R2 plus R1. Don't quite have enough room there. These two divide to 1. So we're left with LR2 on this side. And over here we have R2 plus R1, all of this times D. And I left the parentheses on there so we can remember that we need to use the distributive property here. This whole thing is being multiplied by D, so this D needs to be distributed to everything inside there. So that's the next step we're going to do. We're going to do D times R2, so R2D plus R1 times D, which gives us R1D. And then on this side, we have LR2 left over, okay? And remember, we're trying to solve for R1, which is right here. So we're going to subtract R2D from both sides. And these two add to 0, and we're left with R1 times D. And over here we have LR2 minus R2 times D. And then we're going to divide both sides by D. And these two divide to 1, so we're left with 1 R1, which is just R1, okay? And then over here we have LR2 minus R2D over D. And that's your answer. I think in the answer key it has these two switched, which is fine. I should have written it DR2, but that's not a big deal. This is still correct. You can still have the R2 in front of the D, and it will still be a correct answer. All right, let's go on to the last one. Number 10. So exercise 3.2, part C, number 10, we have 9s minus 5g divided by 11 is equal to c, and we're solving for s right here. It's in the top of our fraction, which is nice. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of that 11 on the bottom. So we'll multiply both sides by 11. These two divide to 1, and we're left with 9s minus 5g here. And over here we have 11c. We're going to get rid of the minus 5g by adding 5g to both sides. And those two add to 0. We're left with 9s on this side. And then we have 11c plus 5g on this side. We're going to get rid of the 9 by dividing by 9 on both sides. Those two divide to 1, and we're left with 1s. And over here we have 11c plus 5g, all of that divided by 9. And that's our answer. And then we're all done. If you have any questions, please, please, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me, and I can explain things in a different way or re-explain it, whatever you need. So let me know if you have any problems.